guys, hope you're doing well. My name's Matt and today I'm here to show you some crazy setups I found in the crypto charts. And we have a secret AI gem coming up in the later part of the video, so stay tuned. Just a quick disclaimer before I start. This video is not financial advice and you should only trade if you are experienced. So now let's get on over to the charts. So first off, we're gonna talk about Blur. This is a lower time frame setup. It's on the 4 hourly and I already talked about this in the last video. I really like this range. I think this support should hold us, and I think this setup would look something like either this one or this one. And I think it's great because you have a great invalidation here. It's only a few percent down, so your invalidation is basically a 4 hour close below this whoa support thing. And so that's basically about the setup. I think it's just really easy to play and I think it could work out well. And one more thing until we get to the TA, it would be great if you liked the video and you can also consider subscribing because it's free and you can always change your mind later. So now let's get on over to the other coin. The other coin I really like is ENJ on the weekly. I already also talked about this setup. I think it also looks really great. I think that if you consider this a deviation, which it actually is, then you have a reclaim of the resistance, and now it looks like you're just gonna bounce off of the support. You could either go to this target. I think this is the better target here. And also the great thing about this setup is that it's just a few percent down for the invalidation, and the invalidation is going to be in 3 days and 7 hours. So if you open it now, you're not going to wait for too long to make this trade work. The other thing is that this setup also looks great against Bitcoin. You can look at this one. I think that this support is really significant against Bitcoin, and once we as long as we are holding it, we could go way higher. Yeah, it's just a great setup overall on ENJ, I think. Well, now the other coin I really like is SHIB. You can look over on the weekly. It looks like this is just a support that like keeps holding us, and as long as the support is holding us, I think this is a great setup also. Again, clear invalidation, great targets. I think the more reasonable target is this one. So it's 40% against like say maybe like 5-6%, depends on where we close. I think it could really easily bounce, and I also really like this one. I think that's basically about it. There's not much on the daily going on. Okay, so that was basically about the coins that I'm really bullish on, and now let's look on over at some bearish setups. So the main one is Solana, I think. This whole resistance on the weekly is looking really strong, and considering this was supposed to be a deviation, and now we're getting rejected by the resistance, I think we just go way lower. So if you are bearish on crypto overall, I think you should short this one because it just looks worse than the other coins. Now looking at the daily, we have to first break down from this range. I think as long as we are holding the range, we are not looking that bad, but once we break it, we could go like way lower. This is the first price target, but I think we just go through that and go straight to this range. Basically, it will look something like this afterwards. Yeah, maybe something like this. I just think Solana is not looking that bullish, and if you are looking for some shorts, you could maybe get into some shorts on Solana. So that is about the one that I'm really bearish on. And now let's just look on over to Bitcoin and ETH, because those are just the names. So Bitcoin on the weekly, I'm still bullish, and as long as we don't make a lower low on the weekly, I'm gonna remain bullish. So once we close below this support, basically, I'm gonna start being bearish, and once we close below this one, it's gonna start looking really bad. But up until then, I think it looks great still. So you just have the high, the higher low, the higher high. Now we could just form a higher low. You have this whole deviation. This is the first, this break is the first change in structure since forever, basically. And as long as we are holding those two supports, I think we're looking great. Looking over at the daily, we have this daily summer range ever since June, and we are still above it, so we're still looking great. And as long as we are above it, there's really no need to worry. This even looks like a higher low. And yeah, so that's basically about Bitcoin. The main price targets on the weekly are 28 to 32k. Depends on you. I like the 32k more, but I'm gonna be taking some profits on 28 if we ever get there. And that's basically about the Bitcoin setups. Now About the ETH setups, wait, let me just get my ETH chart here. So this is my ETH chart. Looks pretty similar to Bitcoin. You have this support still holding. You have these resistances that we still didn't get through. And well, I think Bitcoin looks a bit better, but pretty similar, I think. This is basically on the weekly. Still, you broke the structure finally. Higher low, higher high. Well, not much to worry about. I think the more important chart is the ETH Bitcoin one. So this is the ETH Bitcoin chart. So we are still on the weekly in this ever since like May of 2021. Yeah, it's been a while. We're still holding mid-range, and I think we could be going for the top range pretty soon or somewhere in the foreseeable future. Once we break the top range, which we could, by the way, because this has been like so many retests, it's impossible. And I think just once we get here, we could break it and we could go way higher, maybe for these levels, kind of. I mean, probably not this one, but this one is, I think, a pretty reasonable level, the 0.1 ETH Bitcoin. So that's about the weekly. I think looks great as long as we're holding this one. If we ever get here, I'm transferring all my Bitcoin into ETH because I think that this is a great setup. Like if we do get here, it just looks great, and I think there's no need to argue about that. So that's about the weekly. Now let's look on over to the daily. So this is the daily. This resistance still looks pretty strong. We still haven't broken it, but you have these two lows, and still, as long as we are holding this low, there's no need to be like super bearish. Once we do break this low, it starts looking really bad though. But yeah, I think that's basically about the ETH Bitcoin chart. Alright, so as I promised, the name of the AI gem is BitTensor. It's getting listed tomorrow, and I think it's a great project. You should really look it up. I think it's like one of the biggest projects of the next bull market. And yeah, this is the exchange, and once again, it's called BitTensor, so yeah, go ahead and look that up. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind later. And I'll see you guys in the next one.